Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to do some Halloween projects. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, I saw some videos that I thought were kind of fun, and of course, as soon as I was done watching it, I decided I was going to revamp it. But before I do that, I'm going to show you the cards I got from friends. I got 3 cards lately. The first one is from George's. Thinking of you. Life is like a cup of tea. It's all in how you make it. Cute. I love her little created by Georgia. She writes that in the back. This one's from my friend Frances. She does a lot of things with the hunky dory. I think they are the layered images that it's really easy to use, and I think it's great because they layer up. Really cute. That's from Frances, especially for you. And then this is from my friend Elishia. She has a YouTube channel called Wandering Dreamer 555, I think. I'll make sure I put the right address right here, but I see you. Cute. She loves Halloween like I do. And I'm going to show you my plans for my Halloween projects. Alright, I couldn't decide what to give this year for Halloween because, you know, Rich likes to dress up, as I said, as a vampire, and we only get a few kids. So I like to give full-size candy bars, which is what this Heath bar is. And then I decided, well, maybe I should give pencils to some kids that maybe they don't like sugar. I don't know. And so this one is 3 pencils I got from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to show you how to make both of these. They're very simple to do. I'm also going to show you how to make a ghost, as well as a bat. So you're going to take, we're going to do the ghost first. You're going to take a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 inches by 6.5 inches. And we're going to do a little scoring on it. We are going to score on the 5.5 inch side. You're going to score at, 1.5, 2, 3.5, and 4. And that's it. Then you're going to turn it on the 6.5 inch length. And you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. This is Michael's Recollections heavy cardstock, and it is heavy. So what we're going to do is, with our cutting, we're only going to cut a little bit, but we're going to kind of fold this up so you can see the middle set of scores. We're going to cut away inside the score lines. You're going to cut up to the second box, or including the second box, excuse me. And then you're going to cut, on either side, you're going to cut both of those sets of boxes off. You're only going to have that center section with little boxes in it, like that. That's the only part that's going to have boxes, is the very bottom. Okay? Then, we're going to create his wings. You can do your folds if you want to. I think this will help you if you see the folded areas. So here's how it works. You are going to fold this up, and then this is going to be a flap that folds inside your box. Before I go any further, let me cut a little teeny tiny bit off this bottom box, just a little bit, because I want to be able to make sure it goes inside easily. And I'm only cutting a very little sliver off, because I want to make sure. Can you see those little slivers right there? Probably can't. But if you can, they're they're not very big. That's all the bigger that you want to have. And that'll make it so that that'll fold up inside like that. Got it? Okay. So then we're going to create our bat, well, our ghost wings like these. All I did to make those is I started at the very bottom and I went in about, let's say, 1/8 of an inch. And I just started creating a wavy looking design. Doesn't have to be consistent on both sides. You're just going to make it so that when you get up to the top, it's going to go all the way to the score line. You're going to indent it. Hopefully that made sense. Same thing on this side. We're going to start in about maybe 1/8 of an inch. And if you don't like the looks of yours, maybe you need to start from the top and go down. Maybe that makes it easier for you to, to do this. I don't know. It's up to you, however you want to do your cutting. Okay. And mine isn't the prettiest, obviously, but it gets the job done. So now we've got our ghost shape, we'll call it. I'm going to snip off a little, I have a little weird edge there. I have a couple of weird little edges I want to get rid of. I know I told you, oh, you know, whatever you want to do, it'll be fine, and then I mess with mice. So you want to make sure that your sides are at 90 degrees. It's important that these are at 90 degrees because they're going to hold your heath bar. And then I'm going to take some tear tape, and I'm going to put tear tape on the front of our bottom little flap all the way across. And then I'm going to fold that up. Actually, I might put 2 strips there because it is a 1/2 inch strip, and I have 1/4 inch tear tape, so I might as well really stick it in there, right? Okay. So then after we've done that, take that off. We're going to fold in one of these. We're going to fold up our you're going to fold in your bottom piece so it's at 90 degrees here, and then that's at another 90-degree angle. And you're going to pull up your side, and then you want to make sure that the bottom lines up with the bottom. I'll show you this from this angle. See, it's going to line up with this edge and this edge because you're making a box basically. And then we're going to put tear tape on this edge, and hopefully it'll stay attached. And we're going to put tear tape again on part of this because my flap doesn't go all the way over. I'm going to put it as much, you know, as far over as I think it'll go. You can always just put it on the back of this, and then that'll solve any question about whether you went too far or not, because you wouldn't be able to go any further if you did it on that side as opposed to this side where I can easily go where my flap is not going. Because we cut down, our flaps originally are the length, the width. They're the width of this. Both flaps are the width of the front of this. But once you cut them down, then you know they're not the same width anymore. So you have to make sure you adjust for that. So what I'm doing now is I'm just making sure my other side is laying there, and then I'm just gonna squeeze it. And now we've got the beginnings of our ghost. I already forgot one step, and that was I wanted to distress my edges with some black ink, and I guess I'm gonna have to do that. You know, I'm probably gonna ruin this now. I'm gonna do that now. I have a plan so I don't ruin it, but you know, I still might. I have a little black dauber I had from before, so hopefully it'll be fine. Okay, I just want to go on the edges. You're just trying to make sure that there's a little bit of definition so that somebody can tell that this is not just a box. So now our ghost is distressed. So now we need a head, and all I did was I took oval die. I'll give you the measurements of my die, so in case you want to build something that's the same, you can. My die, it's a stitch die. It is 2 3/4 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. And that is going to need to be distressed a little bit too, and I'm going to make sure I don't screw this up and do it now, you know. I want to do it now so I don't screw that up. And put a little bit around the edges. We just want our ghost to look a little bit like he's not pure white. It doesn't matter that I got a little bit in the middle of it because I'm going to be putting his eyes on, and his eyes are going to be pretty significant in size. Okay, when you do the eyes, here's how you make your eyes. You're going to need 2 punches. The punches I used were 3/8 of an inch, and this one is 5/8 of an inch, and the other one is 3/8 of an inch, although I don't know what I did with that one right now. I'm going to have to find, oh, here it is. This one is 3/8 of an inch. So you're going to use the 3/8 of an inch. You're going to need 2 little black dots. That's the 3/8 of an inch. Then you're going to use the 5/8 of an inch, or you could use a 1/4 inch punch and a 1/2 inch punch. It doesn't really matter size wise. Mine are just a little bit bigger. I didn't have smaller ones, so this is the smallest I had. So then I'm going to need a 5/8 of an inch black one black one, and 2 5/8 of an inch white ones. So that's all you need to create your eyes. Then you're going to take your black one and you're just going to cut it in half. Try to be careful so that it doesn't look like you hacked it apart. It sometimes happens to me that it looks like I hacked them apart. You're going to take some wet glue and put one of your eyeballs in the center of a white, and then you're going to take the other eyeball and put it in the center of a white. Doesn't matter if they look a little bit wonky. You can always move them a little bit if you need to. And then you're going to take the black halves that you just cut in half. You're going to put one over one of your eyeballs, like that. And you're going to put one over the other eyeball. And then you've made eyes. You want to line up the top of your eyelid with the circle, the white circle under it, so that you end up having a no white showing and your black is hidden. You know, like it hides everything. So let's get our white ghost face. If you don't like, like if you got this smudge and you don't like that smudge, well, you don't have to have that at the top. I'm going to put some blusher on my ghost because why wouldn't I? My ghost wants to be going in style. So I'm going to put a little bit of blusher, we're calling it. This is Picked Raspberry Distress Oxide. And I'm just going to kind of blend it in. Because, you know, you don't want it to be too bold. You don't want her to look a little bit overly blushed. Come on. You want her to look like she's going out on the town. She's a ghost. Okay. Doesn't look great, but we're going to go with it anyway. I'm going to try and blend her out a little bit. Good enough. Then we're going to take our eyes. This one eye does not want to stay attached to itself. The eyelid is wreaking havoc with me. For whatever reason, I do not know. Take your eyeballs, and I'm going to just put a little glue on my face. I'm going to put my eyeballs right above, almost on my blusher. Looks like it is on my blusher. I kind of like mine overlapping a little bit. You can do your eyes however you want. You can put them further apart. You can put them closer together. You can do anything you like. I kind of like him like this because it makes him look like he's a little bit, she is a little bit grouchy. You can do this either way. You can glue it to the back, and I'm going to do mine differently. The last time I glued mine to the inside of my candy holder. This time I'm going to glue it to the outside of my candy holder. And then I'll just put my I'll just move my Heath bar because my Heath bars are out in another room. I'll just move it and put it in this one so you can see what it looks like when it's in there. Oh, cheapers creepers. Now, if you give smaller candy bars, I didn't think anybody would want to make these to give to the masses. You know what I mean? Like, because when you're making something like this for a lot of kids, it can be a lot of work. So I made mine thinking I have 6 kids that come, you know, maybe. So I'm making mine with that in mind. But if you're making them, you might want to make it for your grandkids, something like that. So there's the ghost, and here is the bat. And the bat I did put blusher on, but it doesn't show up as much as it did kind of crazy on this one. Okay, so to make the bat, you're going to have another piece of paper that's 5.5 by 6.5 inches. And you're going to do some scoring. On the 5.5-inch side, we're going to score at 1.5, 2, 3.5, and 4. I think that's it. And then you're going to turn it one turn, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. And then we're going to put it together. There's only a little bit of a difference between the bat and the ghost, and part of the difference is the ghost doesn't have ears and the bat does. So we had to make some ears. Now you could make your ears by taking a leaf punch and just punching out a leaf, but all I did was I freehanded, it's in here somewhere, I freehanded and cut what looks like a teardrop or a leaf. And then I laid it on another piece of black cardstock and I cut a second one so it was the same. It doesn't have to be the same, but if they're close, it looks better. We're going to take some white ink on this one. I'm going to have that set aside. And then, before we go any further, I want to cut out on this one. Now, this is exactly like the ghost in that center section where you have the scores. That's where you're going to cut away those 2 bottom boxes. So you're going to cut inside the score lines, eliminating, whoops, we're going to eliminate that whole section. Now, we don't need these, but you might want to use these pieces to draw your little leaves on, or to punch out your eyes. It's up to you. We're going to take 2 of our whites of our eyes. These are 5/8 of an inch around, and we're going to do 1 of the 5/8 inch black circles that we're going to cut in half, and then 2 3/8 inch black circles. And we're going to put our eyes together before we go any further. You might not want to use really heavy cardstock for your eyes. I use the same as I did for my bat and my ghost, and what I found was it's kind of hard to get your eyes to your eyelids to stay attached. That eyeball needs to move down a little bit, I think. And as you can see, I'm using Tombow Mono Aqua Glue. I like that glue. Since you're working on black, you want to make sure that you highlight around the edges of it with white so that you have some dimension. So I'm going to do a little bit around my eyelids just to make it stand out a little bit. Just in the top. I'm not going to do it on the bottom part. Eyes are done. Ooh. My ears, I want to do the same thing with them. I guess they're not ears, are they? What do bats have? We'll just call them ears. Maybe it is ears. I don't know. And you don't have to do the whole way around the ears or whatever they are, because you're going to be hiding some of it. Then, let's see. What do we need to do now? Oh, we're going to cut our wings the same way as we did the bat, or the ghost. Sorry, we're doing the bat now. As you can see, I really take my time doing this, or not. And this one I'm just going to go down from the top. You're going to end up on your score. And I just start, I cut a little bit in when I start. I just cut a little bit in from the edge, like maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. That far. That's how much I started with both. Then we want to fold our scores. And again, it's important that our scores that are closest to our centerpiece, that those are at 90-degree angles. and this is a 90-degree angle, and this is another 90-degree angle from the other one. And we're going to put tear tape on the flap at the bottom up to the score line. And then we're going to put it, I'm just going to put a little bit there, and then we're going to put some on the inside of this piece so that when it closes, hopefully it'll catch on the other wing. Oh, I forgot his head, her head, a head. You, again, same size, it's about 2.5 inches long, the oval. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold in your closure, we're going to call this piece. You're going to hold it 90 degrees, and you're going to pull up that side so that it's really on there. And then make sure that you push the inside onto it. Same with this side. It's important that you push it so that it's all the way over as far as it can be to its buddy. And then you want to take a ruler or something pushing that inside. I didn't tell you that with the ghost, but that really does help you if you can put something inside, flip it over, and then push down on it so that you can get your tear tape to stick. That looks better. All right. And again, I forgot to do the white. Ugh, whatever. Sandy. Jeez. And we're just going to highlight the edges. You could highlight the back, you know, around the neck if you wanted to, but I don't see any point to it, but you could. Oh, look, I got ink everywhere. These are the things. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, I'm digging it. So then we're going to get our head. Oh, I forgot to highlight the head. Need to do that. You only have to really go around. I was going to say I'm going to start over and do the bottom section, but then I screwed up that section too. So jeepers creepers, Sandy. Then I want to get my pink and do a little bit of cheek on this one. Put a little cheek action there. Oh, I got it on my... Then we're going to glue our eyes on. And glue our eyes right there. I think these eyes make him look bored. Doesn't it? He's kind of like, ugh, jeez. Another trick or treat. Ugh, whatever. And then you're going to put your glue on the front of your little leaf shapes. I'm just going to lay those like that and like that, and then I'll play with them a little bit so that I like the way they're sitting. And then you can either glue it to the outside of the box or the inside of the box. That one I glued to the inside, and it will fit. I mean, this does go inside, no problem. But it might be easier to just glue it to the back, and then you won't have, you know, you won't have to worry about it. All right, there's that. And then I want to put a little saying on it. There's that one. And then let's see what we want to put on this one. Chris did a really good job cutting all these out. There's so many of them. Spooky on it in the back, and then I'm going to put pumpkin, I think, on the front. Why not? Spooky. So let me show you how to do the pencil. So my paper for my pencils is 2 3/4 inches by 7 1/4. And we're going to do a little bit of scoring on this. We're going to score in the back. This is a lot harder to put together because it has 1/4 inch scores, and it really does make a big difference when you're trying to fold paper that has 1/4 inch scores. It's not that simple. So I'm going to start. You want to make sure when we do this that your pattern is facing up. in this direction. Well, it doesn't really matter right now, but it will in a minute. You're going to score this at 1/4 inch, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/2. Now, I'll tell you where the real problem comes in is this last score that you have that you cut, because it might not be a full 1/4 inch when you use your paper trimmer, and that becomes a little bit tricky when you put this together. Then you're going to turn it so that your pattern is the top of the pattern faces to the right, and this is where you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. Okay. Now we're going to cut away some paper again. You're going to have a 1/4 inch score, and then you're going to have this inch space. This is the space you're going to leave the 2 scores at the bottom on. Everything else you're going to cut away. So we're going to, again, you're going to cut to the inside of your score line, both sides, so you only have that set of boxes in this center. And then you're going to get rid of this, and we're going to get rid of everything on this side, including the score marks. Then this is going to be the part that folds inside your box. I had a little issue with it when I made it a 1/4 inch, and that's why I'm making this piece a 1/2 inch, because I think it'll make it the box more sturdy. Box, not really a box. Anyway, it should make it more sturdy. Then I took my hole punch, and at the opposite end from this little tab, you're going to punch out some spots so that you can see the pencils. And I'm going to do it, I only did on one side the last time. I think I'm going to do it on 2 sides this time. And it doesn't matter if they're perfect, if they're both the same, because your pencils are going to hide them. You're not going to see through it, is what I'm saying. Okay. Then you're going to put tear tape. Let's fold all of our folds. You want to make sure when you're doing boxes, this is a box. When you're doing boxes, you want to make sure your folds are really crisp, because it makes a big difference in your end product if they're well-defined scores. Now, this one is shorter than this one on this end. So I'm going to make this one my outside. See, when I put it together, that's going to cover that. If I would have used this one as my outside, when you would have been able to see some of the paper on this side. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So we're going to put some tear tape on the back of this flap that I like for my outside. But we're not going to put that together first. I think I'm going to have to try and put our little inside flap in there first, because that was really a bugger when I did it before. I couldn't get it to stay in there without ending up sticking to itself and to the inside of the box wonky, and so the pencils wouldn't go in. I was just really struggling with it, and it was so frustrating. So we're going to try and put it together, put this part in first. I don't know if it'll work, but we're going to do it. Okay, so we've got a little bit of tape sticking over the top. Okay, so what you're going to do, remember, our tear tape is on the inside of this piece on the edge. I'm going to take that off too. Oop. Of course, it's not staying. Why would it? All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to fold this little flap up, and we're going to lay it. We're going to lay this. Oh, I gotta do a better job of this one fold isn't really good. All right, that fold looks better now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make this fold stick to the inside where I want it. And hopefully it'll stay there. And then if you can stick your finger in there or a bone folder and really get that flap attached, you won't believe how much easier this will make this project if you do that. All right, so then we want to push this flap down, the one that's the side. And you want to bring up the side flap that has your tear tape on it. And you want to really rub that down. And then I have a little bit sticking over the edge. Remember I told you that you might have a little bit hanging over because that one piece isn't as big. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and just trim that off. You can't see it because nobody needs to see that. I got my pencils at the Dollar Tree. They were 12 for $1 and they're really cute. Of course they're Halloweeny. So I'm going to use a purple one, an orange one, and a green one. Oh, and I bought these, I don't even know what they're called. I bought them at a garage sale for 75 cents. I had this huge bag of them, and they're really cute. And I thought it would be fun to use these in this little project. I'm going to put a little tear tape on the back so that I can get it to stay where I want it. And if you can't tell, I've got a little snuffly nose. Ugh, I just don't even know. I ended up getting a COVID test yesterday, and I still don't have the results. I don't know why, but anyway. I'm hoping I don't have COVID again. I had my booster shot. I had my vaccines. I don't know what the heck. You know what I mean? Don't know what the heck. So then we're going to put these inside. It's a tight fit. So if you're making one of these, remember it's a tight fit. So when you're putting your pencils in, you kind of have to wiggle them a little bit to get them in there. There's that. And then what I did was I put a little snip angling down. I put a little snip on the front two sides. You'll see the reason for this in a second. And then I just took my little boo, well, in this case, the little boo. And then what I did is I just went down to where I made those little marks, and I kind of pulled that gold wire so that it is stuck on those. And then, there you go. So there is my pencil holder and a ghost and a bat. Oh, I have something else I want to do with the ghost and the bat because the back of them is kind of plain. So these came from the Dollar Tree. It was a big page. It was called journal cards, and they probably don't have them in any Dollar Trees anymore, but that's what the box or the packaging looked like. And it came with 2 pages of them, and Rich cut out a bunch of them. If I had a scan and cut, which I don't, if I had a scan and cut, it would have been so much easier for Rich. I'm just going to stick a Terrorific Time on that one. I just put some tear tape on the back. And this one, Ghostly Greetings. I'm going to hide the back of the head of the ghost. And then it's all done. So I hope that this gave you some ideas of things you could do for Halloween for your kids, and that you give this a thumbs up and subscribe, and please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.